Okay, so with the next video, I'm going to... Ah! Oh, jeez, wait. It's been a few weeks since my last video. Have you just been waiting here the whole time? Have you had anything to eat? Oh, let me get you some grub, jeez. Well, hello. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Apologies for the lack of videos for the last little while. I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks. I have been pretty swamped with responsibilities here and there at Turtle Corp, and although it wasn't my intention to fall behind on some of these videos, I'd been spending my time being busy or streaming instead, actually. Speaking of which, I do stream on Twitch on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays during the Australian evenings, so feel free to check me out there. Anyway, on with the video. I actually had footage for another workshop idea that I could have used, where I put together a completely new keyboard using a glorious bare bones kit that I would use in the office, as I didn't like the generic membrane keyboard I had access to there. But 2 keyboard videos in a row seemed like a bit much, and I kind of wanted to expand my model kit collection just a little bit. There were a whole bunch of cool kits that I could have gotten, but once I saw the Lugia kit online, I knew that had to be my next one. I would probably still say that my experiences of Pokemon Gold and Silver are among my favorite gaming experiences of all time, and I can pinpoint the exact moment when I realized that Pokemon would probably be a franchise that would stick with me for life. It was the whole Goldenrod Tower Rocket Takeover section, how you go into the radio tower and fight with the executives to free everyone there. They had hijacked the tower to set up a broadcast looking for Giovanni, turning the entire radio crew into hostages. I had just gotten my Totodile to fully evolve into a Feraligatr. I always go for the water starter. And the idea of taking a Pokemon that you had raised from a wee baby and turn it into a powerful machine that mows down villains was very, very satisfying. I had the same feeling when going through Silphco in Pokemon Blue with my Blastoise and Pidgeot, but the Goldenrod arc cemented it and Pokemon's place in my heart. I'd even go so far as to say that that was the moment RPGs became my favorite genre, that it would always be cool. I remember actually a few years later, I think I had just started high school, and there was the problem of peer pressure going around. I cared so much back then. I had a Game Boy Advance, but it's not like I could bring that to school or even admit that I enjoyed Nintendo games still. I had to be more mature with my tastes and say that I enjoyed PS2 games like everyone else. Otherwise, I was a baby. A fun fact, I never actually owned a PS2, but I did have a close friend at the time who did own one, and we had a setup where I would go to his place and play PS2 games, so I could pretend to my school friends that I was into it. What I ended up doing was saving my GBA, mainly for when my family had trips. We had an interstate trip once, and I distinctly remember being very excited because it meant that I had several hours to play Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance, even if I was too old to enjoy the Nintoddler games. There were no smartphones or internet back then that I could use, and I didn't have an iPod either, so it was a very long trip, but me and my AA batteries certainly made the most of it. It's funny, I feel like the Tooru of back then would intensely judge the Tooru I have become today from a point of insecurity, but I think that's part of growing up. You know, you come to accept your hobbies and what you find enjoyment out of within reason. See, I don't think I'd go out of my way to tell my colleagues at Turtle Corp that I love VTubers, right? But I don't try to tell myself that I only like X or Y ironically. I'm at least honest with myself about what I enjoy, and because of that, I'm comfortable in my hobbies as a result. See, my interest in Pokemon nowadays is actually quite different to what it was back then. I'm more focused now on the competitive side of Pokemon, the VGC metagame, and the strategic chess game that is competitive doubles battling. So I can look at an upcoming Pokemon game, you know, like Violet and Scarlet, with 15-year-old looking graphics and even older looking mechanics, and still find excitement in the franchise. But it would not have been there if it were not for the original spark. And that kind of spark that I felt is something that we should cherish, rather than snuff out for the sake of looking cool to no one in particular. Anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed my rambling, and I hope you enjoyed Lugia. It looks pretty neat, doesn't it? I do like the touch of the stand because depending on how you orient the tail, it actually does rest in 2 different poses, which is very, very cool. I think next week I'll go back to keyboards because I already have that video recorded. But who knows? I may get the itch to do another model kit. At this rate, I'm not going to have the money or the space to continue doing these videos, so please give them a like while I'm still working on them. No, I'm just kidding. But if you did enjoy the video, I also do stream on Twitch and post on Twitter and have other videos here on YouTube, so please check all of that out if you're interested. If you've made it to the end, I just want to say, from Tooru to you, thank you. Take care and have a wonderful day.